Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kid Lee. Today, for episode 2 of the Intergalactic News Network, I'm going to talk a little bit about the path system in WildStar. For those who don't know, WildStar is an upcoming MMO RPG being made by Carbine Studios. This is not another one of those small MMOs that has just a small staff working on it. This is going to be a massive game with over 250 people working on it. So, in most MMOs, when you are creating your character, you select your race and class, then proceed to jump into the game to level away, as all of the classes will see most of the same content. In WildStar, they ask you the question, how do you like to level? Do you like to kill stuff? Do you like to explore? Do you like to be social? In character creation in WildStar, you are able to select your race and class, but then you proceed to pick your path. Your path is how you will level in the game. WildStar will offer 4 paths: the soldier, the explorer, the settler, and the scientist. Each path has its own unique questing system that will get you through the game. So let's go over a breakdown of these 4 paths, starting with the soldier. If you like to kill stuff, then the soldier path will be for you. Some of the mission types for the soldier will be assassination, which, as you can probably guess, will be just assassinating people. A rescue op will be basically freeing hostages from the enemy. Demolition will be, well, blowing stuff up. SWAT, known as the Special Weapon and Tactics, is basically you testing out new technology, new weapons, new toys, that type of thing. And then there's 4 different types of what they call holdouts. There's a conquer, a first strike, a security, and a protect. Some being offensive base, some being defensive base. Next up is the explorer. If you're one of those people who likes searching every nook and cranny of an area, or likes to see if you can reach the top of that mountain, then the Explorer path will be for you. The Explorer mission types will include things like cartography, which they're kind of calling it sort of a map making or a travel into the untamed wilds of Nexus. You've got expedition, which is basically exploring the uncharted frontier. You've got scavenging hunt, which will be searching for ancient artifacts. You have surveillance, which is going to be sort of the secret agent part of it, setting up remote surveillance devices to keep an eye on your enemies. You have exploration, which is going to be find every use or combination of technology and the agility to access hidden locations. You have what they're calling operation, which is, well, they're saying it's not all about climbing something. You've got to gear up, buckle down, and get the job done. And it's definitely going to be very skill-based. They have what's called staking claim, which is going to be getting to locations and then planting your faction's flag and claiming this, as they're calling it, the planet for your allies. And then finally, they have tracking, which says ready to hunt, tracking enemies and creatures and strange anomalies. Next up is the settler, which is being called a social path. This is for people who like to help others and like to build stuff. Now I've got to say, personally, this one has my interest piqued. The ability to level a character doing possibly little to no combat is very interesting. Now, because this one is so different, I'm going to try and get into a little bit more information on the details on the mission types. The first mission type, they're calling it expansion, and it's basically that the town isn't going to improve itself, so you have to step up, strap on your tool belt, and start building things. Next is what they're calling supply catch, which is basically some sort of supply run type mission. They're saying that, well, if a town is low on resources, then you may have to go somewhere, get the resources, and take it to the town. Next is public service, which is basically doing tasks for the greater good. And what that means exactly, who knows at this point, but again, rather interesting. Next up is called infrastructure, which is basically if you're ready to do some serious real estate development, you have the option to build hospitals, taverns, spaceports to help and supply your friends and allies. And finally, you've got civil defense, where it basically says that the town guards can handle the small stuff, but when you're going against the biggest and the best, you might have to step up to save the day. So that must basically mean building, turrets, maybe defensive walls, something along those lines. So that definitely looks very interesting there for the settler. And finally, we have the scientist. This path will be for those who like to know everything. What does that do? Who is that? Why am I here? Those types of things. The mission types for the scientists will be things like analysis, which is going to be basically scanning creatures or monsters. You have biology. You have catalog, which is going to be just, I guess, cataloging general information. It'd be really interesting to see exactly how they do that. You have diagnostics, where it says you're the scientist, and that means you can fix stuff. Whether it's a broken leg or a busted bot, you'll diagnose the problem and take care of it. You have archaeology, which is, there was this, in the game, there's this ancient race known as the Elden. They're really big into the lore or the story. So basically, archaeology is going to be scanning relics, robots, and that type of thing. Botany, as you might be able to guess, is going to be checking out the plants and flora of the planet. You've got chemistry, which is going to be checking out the exotic materials and alien components. And then you have field study, which is studying the behavior patterns among the natives. So that is it for the scientist. And that will do it for episode 2 of the Intergalactic News Network. I'm working on more episodes that will feature items like combat, PvP, and a few other things. So everybody keep playing and have fun.